I'm recording. Yes, I remembered. Okay, go ahead.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so are we ready to go? I am going to share my screen. So you let me know when you're seeing my screen, because when I do this, I kind of lose you guys.
You're good.
So you see my screen? Okay,
Yeah, nice and
so
clear.
this is a spotlight on Joe Sonne, and thank you very much for letting me do this today. Now, I don't know if you were able to hear the sound. Did you hear any sound?
No.
No.
All right, you got to hear this. It's only a 10-second intro, so I'll just play it a different way here.
Looks fancy though.
And I didn't bother playing the animation over again because, well, we want to go forward. So here's a little bit about me. So I'm from Canada. You already heard a little bit about that. And Canada is all those colorful things called provinces that is just north of the United States up there. And we're on the right side, that red province dips in to the USA. I have a little circle there. That's kind of where I'm located. Allison is also in the same city that I am, at Guelph, Ontario. So we're between Toronto and Niagara Falls, Canada, and Niagara Falls, New York. And so people say, okay, so what's the big deal about Canada? Well, Canada is simply just a giant buffer zone north of the United States to protect the Americans from the Eskimos. Anyways, my apologies to the Eskimos. I don't mean to offend them, so we'll just move on here. So what is
We
Joe
live in
do?
normal houses without the snow.
Yeah. So what do I do? My main business is the Joe Sonne Group at joesonne.com, and all the web development, anything that's related to its support and maintenance under the brand Joe Joomla at joejoomla.com. And so I also do Shopify e-commerce. So that's kind of my main businesses. And I've been full-time doing stuff. I started with joejoomla.com in 2009. But all this stuff is kind of boring, so I thought I'd take my spotlight in a little different direction and let's have a little bit of fun. I'm actually going to show you the evolution of joejoomla.com through the Joomla versioning. So different Joomla versions, and so it comes with a warning. Some of this stuff's going to be really hard on your eyes, especially for you pros that are really into, the user experience. So so here we go. Joomla 1.0. So this I call my clueless stage. This is the first Joe Joomla website. It's a Joomla 1.0 website with a template from Joomla Art. So I blame Joomla Art. And then when Joomla went to 1.5,
I see Alan Langford in there.
What was that?
I see Alan Langford there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that little picture that you see there was at a tech show in Toronto called IT 360. And we were representing Joomla there, and we had our little laptops, and we were, had a virtual server, and we were showing people what Joomla was all about. And everybody was there, like Linux was there, Red Hat was there, Drupal was there, I don't remember if WordPress was there, but anyways, on we go. Joomla 1.5, that's a rocket theme template. Now, I'm still clueless at this stage, and the reason I know I was clueless is because of something that a guy said to me at a Joomla user group in Toronto. I helped co-start 2 Joomla user groups in the province that I'm in, one in Toronto, one south of me, closer to Niagara Falls. And this guy I met at the Toronto group for the first time. His name is Bob, and he said to me, I went to your site, I looked around, and I couldn't figure out what you do. And I went, oh yeah, you're right. Like basically it was just a hobby at this point still. I was having a lot of fun learning about Joomla. I had a very good full-time job at the time, so I didn't have to, Joomla didn't have to support me. We were using it. I worked for a large national nonprofit association in Canada, and I brought Joomla in, and we did our intranet using Joomla. So then when Joomla went to 1.7, I then upped my game a little bit. The messaging got a little bit better. The graphics were still brutal. You can see my Joe Joomla logo there on display. I did that myself. Yes, I'm responsible for that mess. And this is a Jewstrap template from Philip Locke out of the UK. And it is modified, and the Joomla, when Joomla 2.5 went on, I got more heavily customized, and I started creating modules for my site, specialized modules. And then we go to Joomla 3, and the site became even more customized. I'm still using a Jewstrap based theme or template there, but I strip everything out and basically build it up. And then if you were to go to joejoomla.com today, you would see what you see on the right there. So it's further modified. And now that Joomla 4 is out, I am taking the big leap from inspiration from Robin here in the group and building my own template. And it's going to be a straight CSS grid with my own custom CSS. And it's coming along, but I only get a chance to work on it, when I'm not doing client stuff. This is my Joomla volunteer information there. I have been a member for Open Source Matters. You can see for a few years there. I'm still on the Capital team, more as a consultant. I did lead the team for a few years, but now I'm just a consultant to the Capital team. And what they do is they're the only team that brings money into the Joomla project. So everybody likes to spend money, but the Capital team are the ones that bring it in. I was in 2014 part of the marketing team, and during that time there was also a SWOT analysis team, and what SWOT stands for is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we got a lot of really good information from that. And regarding being a volunteer, I once looked up the term serial volunteer to see if there's a mental medical condition associated with it. But thankfully there's not, but I did learn a lot about why people volunteer. Here's a fun fact for you. That little snippet, Joe Joomla theme music, is from a band that my brother Steven played in. He's the guy sitting on the left there on that bench with the sunglasses. And to the left of them is this picture of their tour bus. Their tour bus caught fire in Colorado after a gig that they had done the night before. And they pulled over to sleep on the side of the road in their bus, and it caught fire, and it started a 400-acre forest fire in Colorado. Yes, and they were so grateful they didn't get arrested and thrown in jail for that. But yeah, that's a fun fact. Yeah. So I've been to all of the Joomla World conferences. You see this picture here, it's kind of like a where's Joe in the picture. I'm actually really easy to spot. I have these angelic beings standing behind me in white up at the top near the middle there. And if you just look slightly down to the right, you'll see me with my original Joe Joomla t-shirt on in that crowd there.
It looks like you've got a red mohawk.
Yeah. And some of the other things I do is I've done lots of presentations at the World Conferences, J and Beyond, and I spoke at a lot of Joomla Day events. I usually more talk about the business of Joomla I don't try to compete with the smart people that do all of the sophisticated coding and all that. And I also have been helping out along the way with different events, and most recently the Joomla Day USA event, which a whole bunch of people in this group here, Robin and Olivier, and Laura's not here today, but she's the quarterback for that. Great person to
She popped in a
organize
little late, Joe. She's here now.
Oh, is she? Yeah, I just want to say I can't say enough about Laura. She's probably one of the best people to organize event that I've ever seen, and I've been involved in a few events. So thank you very much, Laura, for doing that stuff. Another fun fact. I'm responsible for negotiating Glyph, which is now called Ring Central, for the official Joomla team members messaging app. So if you're on an official team, you're probably using Ring Central to communicate with the other Joomlers that are officially involved in the your team. And there is a public channel there, I believe, as well, too. And the reason that it's we're using this is because Slack would not give us an account. They wanted money, and for the amount of users that we would need, it was going to be prohibitively expensive. So you can blame Joe for Glyph or Ring Central. Although if you go and look at the signed contract, Tessa Miro actually signed it when she was on Open Source Matters. And some of the other things I did during the time is I was the one that initiated the advertising server for Joomla to serve up the advertising banners on the website properties. And I helped create all the sponsorship packages that are still in use, and advertising packages, and of course sold a whole bunch of stuff to different sponsors. You'll see them on the sponsor page and stuff like that. So that's the high level overview of me and who I am and what I do with Joomla. And just want to let you know that no animals were harmed in the making of this presentation. Thank you very much for your time, and appreciate it.
Joe, that was a very fun presentation. I appreciated that. Anyone have any questions for Joe?
What was your brother's band name?
Oh, so that band was called Savannah Rose. Now, if they're no longer together as a band, because that was a while ago, if you actually search Savannah Rose today, there's like 4 different bands that are using that name down there. My brother actually lives in our home. We have a basement apartment that he's in. He has a recording studio that's down there. He's still into music, although he does other stuff. He's even been doing IT and that sort of thing for a few years. So he did 4.5 years touring through the United States with that band. They kind of got burned out, like the bus. And but yeah, no, he's super talented guy. He's the reason I didn't pursue music. My younger brother was so much better than me. I just decided I'm not competing with guys like that, and that's why I got off into something else.
Oh, nice. All right, well, thank you so much for that wonderful spotlight, and don't be intimidated by it. It was wonderful. You can still do one for me next month. So the next thing on our agenda today is we're going to do our introductions. We're going to go around the room, but instead, since we don't have a presentation today, we're going to do a mastermind. And during your introduction, instead of it being like 60 seconds long, we're going to do like 5 minutes, and you can tell us about your favorite Joomla extension. And don't worry if you're duplicating what someone else says, that's okay. But I think I'm going to start with Ellen, because she's worried that someone just is going to have the same one. So we'll start with you and go around.
So I really didn't prepare any one. I just made a list of ones that I almost always use. But first, my name's Ellen Rothwax. I live in Connecticut, and I've been using Joomla for I don't know, 15, 20 years. and or I guess not 20 years, it's not that old, but I do websites mostly for small businesses and professionals. I guess, top of my list is Akiba, but that's like a given. But RS Forms I use on just about every site. I just find that even if it's just to register on a site, I like making my own forms. I guess things change now with these fields, which I've really never used before. But with RS Forms, I can choose what category, or level, ACL level that somebody automatically registers as. I can connect to MailChimp or Constant Contact. I can do small payments. So like if I have 1 or 2 products selling on the site, I don't need a whole shopping cart. I can use their payment method on there. So it's been very useful to me. And I find it pretty easy to use.
Show of hands, who else is using RS Forms on their sites?
Oh, yeah.
I am.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. A good chunk of people. Do you have an example you want to show us at your screen? You're welcome to. That's okay. I don't need to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Anyone else got any questions for Ellen while she's discussing it? All right, well, then I'm going to go right around the circle and I'm going to go to Joe.
Ah, okay, you already heard about me. So, but you want to know about an extension that I use that,
Yes.
yeah, so I do use RS Forms and it's very sophisticated, but one I'll throw out there is one of my biggest clients is an intranet at a hospital, and we use Document for document management. And one of the reasons for it is it requires a lot of access control lists, and because different departments don't want other departments to be able to go in and do anything, they maintain documents. So this document management system is actually an integral requirement for a hospital in Canada to have a certification. They need to be able to find any information under 2 minutes on topics like drugs or security methods or procedures. Now, it's not a HIPAA thing where it doesn't have private information. It's all public information, but they're policies and procedures stuff that a hospital requires. And so we use Document. The alternative to using something like that is Microsoft products, which are in the $500,000 range, and a lot of hospitals do use that. But I was able to do Document for 2 different hospitals in general area where I am for a whole lot less than $500,000, and they like it, and I maintain that for them. So, and also the developers of Document are very responsive to me, that actually create products based on some of my clients' requirements because we're basically power users.
Nice. And I just got their email this week that they're Joomla 4 ready.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have any applications where I've used them quite to that extent, but that's pretty awesome. Any other document users out there?
I've used eDocument.
Right, which is a competing product for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but also for Joomla, and
And just a fact about Document is Johan Janssen is was the main creator of Document, and he was the lead developer for Joomla 1.5. He wrote most of the code for Joomla 1.5, and he's a founding member of Joomla.
Wonderful. Any
So
questions?
Joe, I don't know if you've run into this. I've been using Document for a long time, and my only frustration is the pricing strategy, which they have recently changed. They changed about, it was like 4 years ago when he's actually really keeping tabs. So a lot of the sites where you pay a subscription, they say it's unlimited sites. Other sites, they say you pay for a subscription, you pay for unlimited sites for support, which means you can install it on other sites, but you just can't ask for support. So Johan is smart enough, notice I'm giving him credit, to make sure that won't happen. So for one site, it's $99 per year. If you have it on a second site, the tool will not work. And I found that because I was using on some public library websites. So I have since taken it off a lot of my sites because my clients don't have that kind of budget. But if your sites can afford it and the budget is there, it is the most powerful document management system out there. So for 5 sites, it's $199 a year. And for records, we actually pay $399 a year because we have it on a lot of our sites. So again, $399 a year isn't a lot of money for the type of product you're getting. So I'm giving Johan props for that. But for a small business, it might be over the top, depending on what your needs are. So it is great.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you talk to Johan, he got kicked out of the Joomla extension directory over a complaint about his pricing structure, but he defends himself by saying that it's the open source model allows him to do what he does, but the JED does not let him in there, and it's a beef, a problem that they have, and it's unfortunate because he's actually a very, very smart guy. I mean, it's not and most extension developers that do major league extensions, it's not trivial. They have to have developers, and they have to earn a living, and you know, you're only going to, like Laura, you're going to use it if you're serious in business. If you need something that's a lot more lightweight, there are lots of alternatives to managing documents.
For sure. And I'll just chip in on that JED thing. There was multiple complaints within the no spam group of people getting surprise billings.
Yeah, they weren't aware of the pricing.
Because he changed it. Right.
Yeah.
So it's
But you don't hit somebody's credit card without a heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably a major faux pas on their part, not making people aware and giving them that opportunity to opt out. Yes, it created a lot of grief. I too do the $3.99 agency subscription for even though I only have a much smaller number of sites that use it, but I need the support because when you need it, right? And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Speaking of extension developers, Olivier, you're going next.
Well, I'm not here to talk about my extension, so please don't feel.
What's your favorite?
Don't feel like you have to.
I already will. Don't worry about it, Olivia.
Well, I think my best, my favorite. I mean, I guess the one I use the most would be Akiba Backup and Akiba Admin Tools, but I think it's pretty much a given for most of people. I do love this developer, Tassos Marinos from Greece. And my favorite extension from him is the what's his name? The advanced custom fields is the one I use the most.
Advanced custom.
Yeah. it really complements. It's like a toolbox. It really complements all the custom fields that are now available as a core in Joomla, but it really adds the ones that are missing, that that you need to have a full-blown website, and it really helps a lot, and I use it extensively, and I make sure that it's compatible with my extensions, and it will be, I think I will be making even more how can I say, out of the box stuff for my extensions for use of is in it. So so yeah, I mean, that's really my toolbox.
I'm a
I
big
don't
fan of
create-
his site, of his extensions too. I use so many.
Yeah, I don't create that many websites, but all the ones that are my clients, I use it on them. So I don't know if you see my screen.
I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Is it my window or my screen you're seeing? Oh, you're seeing my screen. Well, anyway.
I have a question about advanced custom fields. So does it work exactly the same way as the core custom fields does? It does, eh? All right.
It
It's
allows you-
completely is created the same way Joomla core fields are created. So wherever an extension can use custom fields, you can usually
Just
include
adds to the list.
his. Yeah. So, and then he sent a news, also a newsletter this week, saying that now his custom fields are you can include them in subforms. So it's really, I mean, it was the last step to have a full functional custom field set, and I think you should give it a try if you haven't already. You have a set of custom fields that are free, and others that are you can pay a subscription for having the most extensive one, but I mean the free version allows you to add a pretty nice set of fields. So it's Tassos.gr for his website.
So what's your favorite custom field?
My
Advanced
favorite
custom
custom field. Well, I don't know. I use a lot of them when it comes to video, audio, and stuff like that. I use them. I haven't used his gallery one yet. But I do use some that are used in my extensions too, like the phone, the email, and these. I mean, you can do pretty much anything. There's an OpenStreetMap. You can do Facebook. I mean, social stuff. The most important, I think, is file upload. You can add his custom field to a form, and you can do file uploads. I mean, yeah, it's a great one.
And you can have unlimited uploads, and your customer can edit it from the front end, and they can easily upload files. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Nice.
And
That was a game changer for me.
Yeah, me too. And it's great looking too, out of the box. So that's my favorite.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but he just announced the beta version that all of his custom fields are going to work in the sub form.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that was the last hurdle before it was a full-blown toolbox. I mean, now it's going to be working like any core field, and it's very powerful.
I have an Akiba question. A lot of people have been saying that's their main one. Two questions regarding Akiba. One is when you use the Pro version and you're doing a backup and then you upload it to something like Amazon, I find that works really, really well. But I noticed that when you use Backblaze to upload your backups, that it has I would call it a significant failure rate. Does anybody use Akiba with Backblaze to know?
No.
Okay, so my second question then is, what about Akiba for WordPress? Does anybody use it?
I use it, yeah.
Right, okay, so
Yeah.
Akiba for WordPress, does, can it restore a WordPress site? Does it do a
Yes.
good job, or is it funky?
I just did it this weekend without any problem at all.
Nice.
It just avoids that whole nightmare of having to change every URL in a database, you know.
I
so
just
it-
can't even imagine Nick putting out an Akiba backup for WordPress and not having it work as it does in Joomla.
Well, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So,
Like Pro.
Yeah, no, and I don't have the pro version. I have the free. I use the free version, and so I have to. You have to restore with Kickstart. But yeah, I was just like, oh, okay, now I know how to move WordPress sites. So I'll just use this. So,
right, yeah. Okay, well,
Yeah,
thank you.
I-
That's my question.
Oh, I have one thing, talking about Nicholas. I personally asked him for the next release of Joomla if he could make the SVG previews for Joomla 4, and he did. So next time we will have SVG previews in our Joomla versions. So it's going to be cool.
Nice.
And just what, can I just show something real quick? Just
Yeah,
really,
anyone.
really quick.
Yep.
A sample of what Olivier just did. See this, these are using the upload fields. Look how beautiful that is. That's editing on the front end
Oh,
for a
nice.
customer. So you click browse, you can drag files, whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Yeah.
And it comes back as a link to your if you send as an email, you come back to your email as an attachment. You can see what people upload, or I mean, it's really very nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
Great discussion. I'm going to go around, and next is Anna. If you want to tell us what your favorite extension is, or harp on what someone else said, either way.
Yes, okay, so I was not prepared at all
Oh.
for this. But okay, so I'm Anna Robinson. I live in Stockholm, Sweden, and I've been using Joomla for, well, at least it's a lot more than 10 years, I think. Yeah, so okay, my favorite extension, that's super hard because of course it's Akiba like everybody else. But a new one, or quite new one for me, is for SEO. It's I used I think it was called Sitemap Pro. Could it
Yeah,
have been?
JSitemap.
Yeah. And now I swapped it for SEO, and it's this French guy. His name is Yannick.
Oh, yes.
I can't remember his family name now, but
Gautier.
Gautier, yes. Oh, he is super. So I don't know how I heard about this, but he took me in already on the beta, and he is so fantastic and helpful, and the extension does everything. It's it's a Swiss knife. Yeah, it does loads of stuff. So I know I got rid of the Sitemap Pro, and I got rid of another one for replacing, because it also replaces anything. And yeah, it does redirects. It does. I mean, it does about 20 different things. So I can't remember them all now, but it's Weebler. It's the website is Weebler, the developer. So
Yeah, I saw his presentation at Joomla London.
yeah.
Doug London a while back. And yeah, it's on my shopping list when I renew.
It's
Yeah, it is.
super. It's super. I love it.
He did one or two on Joomla USA, and I followed it, and it's very extensive. I mean, his tool is perfect, pretty much.
Yes. And he is also perfect, because I feel I don't understand things, and he has such patience with me, and he explains and he helps me, and yeah, he's a great person. So
I will concur with that. Yannick is extremely personable and very, very generous with his time as well. He's a wonderful supporter for the Joomla community. Now, JSiteMap Pro is from, I believe, a guy from the UK that's also involved in Joomla. One of the things about JSiteMap Pro that I find fascinating is their website. It looks like it's from the 80s, and
Yes, it's hard to
Exactly.
navigate as well.
but that's not an indicator of their extensions,
No.
of course.
Coding skills and designing skills are different sides of the brain sometimes.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you brought this extension up, because I have a website I'm working on right now that's coming from I'm actually getting rid of K2 and bringing things into core. And there's a lot of articles, lots and lots of articles, and I'm going to have to be doing some redirects. And I was planning on doing the redirects right in Joomla core. And what is your experience doing redirects in Joomla core versus maybe using something like Yannick's extension to do it instead? Does anyone have an opinion or have any experience?
Or an HT access.
So I have one issue. Sometimes if an error, if it doesn't bring up an error page, you cannot use the redirect.
Yeah, you can't use
But
core.
the redirect
unless
will
it's
only
form
work
for-
if the link is actually broken.
Yep.
Okay,
So
I
if-
saw that kind of automatically threw it in there when I unpublished it. But if it doesn't get that error, it doesn't come up. Okay.
You could create your own, but if the system thinks that's a valid link, it won't let you create it. But you can create it if it's an invalid link. So that's where you need something else.
I mean, you can also use admin tools to redirect. So on sites where I usually use core redirects, if I need a redirect that's not a broken link, it's just maybe I added an S to the end of something and one goes to like a blog page, but I want everyone to go somewhere else, I use admin tools because it doesn't matter on admin tools, and it's a nice kind of interface to set it up. So yeah,
I appreciate
built
that.
in.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
if
I have a
you,
question regarding redirects. When you do them in HT access, so Olivier's here and maybe can give us some insight into if you do the 301 redirect, just using a line of code in the HT access file, are there performance issues? Are there technical issues? Is it better? Is it worse than using a Joomla?
it's actually the best way to do it.
Does admin tools put it in there? Is that what admin tool does?
Some tools change the HTA access file. I forgot if admin tools does. I think the admin tools does that.
I would imagine that's what they do. A lot of times they make a custom.
Yeah, it has an HT access builder, but I don't know that it puts the redirects into the HT access. They might.
I can look and see.
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it does. Yeah, it does. It does.
It does.
Okay, cool.
If I remember right. Yeah. So yeah, this is the entry of your site. So it's the best place to redirect stuff.
And
if you
performance
go to
wise,
it-
if you have a huge list, it's
yeah,
still
it
the
won't,
best
it won't
performance?
affect. No, it's fine.
Okay.
The only problem would be if you have a large amount of redirects in the Joomla component, that may be that may have an impact on your.
Okay.
But the
on
change
way
from
it's going.
K2 to back to Joomla core there'll be patterns in the change of the URL. So instead of doing individual pages, you can get away with some formulas, and one line will probably do at least for every category or whatever.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. I was going to get to it. Yeah, you
It's
probably have
not,
quadrants.
yeah, that I'd have to wrap my head around that one, but it's almost like they're taking this opportunity to dump a lot of the articles and just choosing the ones that got high traffic. And so they're picking and choosing, and in the end, it will probably still be like 2,000 articles that are.
No, what are you moving the K2 stuff back to Joomla with?
I'm doing them manually.
ROCSVI, Roland.
Well,
made a-
they didn't want to bring everything. I mean, literally they're.
No, you use that for table by table imports. So what Roland's tool does is either You can take data. What I do is I create views from Mozet's tree or wherever I'm getting from Community Builder, Mozet's tree. And then it brings it in to content, and you could change your views to decide which records you want to bring in. But that way the content records are being created automatically. I've done that for Community Builder migrations and Mozet's tree migrations. And it is
Yeah.
beautiful.
I'm
a
I'm just
little-
I'm just doing a site with Joomla's K2 to COM content migration plugin, and they actually have something in there. If you leave the menu, the K2 menus in place, which you could just hide, the redirects are automatic.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm doing a total overhaul on everything related to those articles. I'm putting them in different categories and tagging them and presenting them and cleaning up their SEO and cleaning up their images so they look like, in the end, they're different they're different articles. And they're, yeah, so
Yes.
at first I thought I was just going to migrate them all over, and then the client decided, let's use this opportunity to really trash a lot of stuff and kind of pick only what we want. So I didn't
And
end up doing a
they're
migration.
paying $10 a page, are they?
Well, I figured out I could move about 12 in an hour. So yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah,
might be
good.
utilizing some interns, but yeah, we're well into it at this point. But yeah, it's gonna be a great site.
So Tim, if you leave the K2 menus in there and you hide them, isn't that just like excess baggage in your database?
I plan on dumping K2.
Yeah, yes, and I mean, I'm a much less precise kind of guy in the sense that I would move everything over, have it done, get it all into. I mean, this is a site for Joomla 4, and then just work away at it, and eventually solve that. But I did look at, yeah, I do like the HT access with the more complex rule. I mean, it's not really that complex once you figure out the examples. It's nothing like trying to figure out regular expressions, although I guess it's not too bad to do. So I think I would do the HT access ultimately, but again, if it was something that was big and you weren't really worried too much about that, then I would. So it's an option, especially if you guys know from watching my channels, I'm out there for the dumb people, right? So if someone says, oh, I don't care, I just need this to move over, and if it's an extra 25 milliseconds for the database call, I'm fine with it. I just need it moved over, please. And you say, what's your budget? And they say, what's that? So it's like, okay, well, here's the tool. We can just do it this way. And they're happy, and that's great. And then later on, when they realize they need something else, then they say, oh, I need this now. And they say, well, why don't we fix this other thing too? Oh yeah, okay. So
nice.
Come around eventually.
And I include myself in the dumb people, by the way. When I was saying it's for the dumb people, it's for my tribe. So
Trust me, I use that Ring Central that Joe got for us all the time. So pop into my network and ask people questions. I couldn't do it alone.
Even I follow the videos. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff from other developers and extension I didn't know about. So I think it's a great channel.
Lisa, why don't you jump in and go next and tell us who you are and what extension you like?
Hey, I'm Lisa. I'm in Virginia, outside DC, and been working with Joomla since 2007, I think, which is right before I think 1.5 came out, because I started with 1.0. So, and I build websites mostly for nonprofits, but I have a lot of membership associations too. And when I saw that today's thing was about favorite extensions, I went and actually checked out my My Sites Guru. I don't know how many people use that, but there's a page on there where it lists all your Joomla extensions. So I just went and I scrolled through it, and I to see, which one I have the most. And besides JCE and Akiba, I think one that maybe not a lot of people use, or a lot of people use, but maybe not in this group, is events booking by Joom Donation. I absolutely love that extension. And not only is it fabulous, but the developer is great. He has done some custom work for me on his extensions when I said, I need it to do this. And it doesn't quite. And so he came in and reconfigured it with some overrides and made it do exactly what I needed it to. And I can do a little bit of show and tell if you want, because I've been working on it this week for one of my nonprofit sites, which let me pull it up.
Yeah, Twan's awesome.
Yes, he really is. Yeah, I actually just pinged him about another question yesterday. So, and he wrote back and said, give me your error message. So I need to get that to him soon. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is, my kids are actually on this swim team, and my dad is the dude in the blue shirt, and my brother is the dude in the black shirt. So it's a bit of a family thing, but it's a swim team that's local to my area, and has a lot of really cool extensions on it, but we use event booking for registration for pretty much all of the different events. There's swimming lessons, and you can display the events in a lot of different ways. So I have swimming lessons here, and these are like a cart kind of thing where you can add multiple kids to your cart and check out. And then let me see, one of the other ones that I have for the team, when kids come in and want to go, oh, not meet results. Let's see, which one is it? Meet signups. There we go. A little bit different one where instead of having like a table, you can have a chart. This one, registration closed for it, but this one just opened. And I set it up so that the volunteers on the team who kind of run these things, when they're logged in, they can easily add it from the front end and modify anything, and they don't have to like log into the back end or anything, because that can be a lot for volunteers who aren't, familiar with web stuff. And let me see, there was one other way that we did it on here. Oh, there's like training that people have to take for it's called Safe Sport for protecting kids, because it's working with kids. I have to do this training too, because I'm an assistant coach for this team too, so one of my other jobs. But yeah, there's other trainings here, and we don't do registration on our site. So when you click on it, actually takes you to the Zoom meeting set up by USA Swimming, which is nice. So you don't have to use like internal links. It can also be an external link. So anyway, this is probably one of my favorite extensions for sure. And I use it on a ton of sites, and it's so configurable because the translation that's built in. I don't know how many people use that, but on one site I can call it swimmers. So when you're registering multiple swimmers for something, it says that. And on another site, I call it registrants. Another site, I call it attendees. So it's just really customizable in terms of what it looks like. So if I were to go here, actually, let me modify the cart and add. So it's 2, and then check out, and then it says swimmer 1 information and swimmer 2 information. Really useful. Billing, all that stuff. Yeah, it integrates with tons of payment gateways too. So pretty much every payment gateway I think out there, there's an built-in integration for it. So this is my favorite. That's all. I'll close that off.
Are the payment gateways plugins? Are they extra subscriptions?
So it depends. There are, I think, probably a dozen that it comes with out of the box, and it's cheap. It's $40 for a year on unlimited sites. So like it pays for itself, multiple times over. I just had to buy a payment plugin because my client's based in Canada. It's for a conference coming up in Toronto. They're using Moneris. And that's kind of, a different one. So I had to pay for that particular payment plugin, like $29, I think. But that's most of them, like PayPal, your standard ones, I think Stripe, maybe even Square, those are included in the core. So you don't have to pay extra for those. It's just kind of the obscure ones that are extra.
That was really, really nice. That's a hard one to integrate all of those registrations and events. And
it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I only get paid for about half the time I work on that because it's volunteer time too.
Yeah.
So they are a nonprofit. So, yeah.
Do they have a version? Sorry, Pat, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, could you repeat again what the name of the extension is?
Yeah, it's events booking. So the website is joomdonation.com, JOOM donation.com. I'll pop it into the chat. He also does a membership I also use his Memberships Pro software a lot. That's also running on this site for their swim team registration because people make payments, monthly payments, and that's a built-in feature for that. And the extensions work well together. So if people are registered for the team, they can have events that only they can see because it pops them into a custom group that I created. So it's a really great program, and he's one of the most responsive developers I've dealt with. So
Yeah, he also does eDocument as well.
yes, I've not used that, but yes.
I did when somebody was moving from one to the other. I helped with the migration of info. That was for NHS in London.
Allison, why don't you jump in and introduce yourself and tell us your favorite?
Okay. Allison Meeks of AM Graphics. And as previous, I'm south of Joe in Guelph in Canada here. And favorites. Whoa. Okay. Obviously, as with everybody, Akiba Backup is the first thing I install. The second thing I install is Cache Cleaner from Regular Labs. Has saved a lot of hair over the years. Use that constantly. I'm gonna chirp in on Tasso's extensions as well, advanced custom fields and convert forms. But with the advanced custom fields, I did recently just use the gallery option. And I'm going to share my screen here. And of course, the phone rings at that same time. Okay, so advanced custom fields I've used for the main image on this site. Let me just pull this over here. As well as the client can upload as many photos as they want. And it all just works like a regular slideshow.
Very nice. Custom fields have come a long way.
Yeah.
That's your car, right, Allison?
Oh God, I wish, Joe.
That is beautiful, Allison.
It is. It's my first more complex J4 build, and due to some personal stuff going on with the client, it hasn't gone absolutely live yet. But it's just they do classics, but they also do regular used vehicle sales. But with me being a gearhead, this was just like the eye candy on this site was amazing. But yeah. So custom fields, that was my first trip into custom fields as well. And having that gallery option was just, it was amazing.
Makes it much easier.
It does. And because I wasn't quite sure how I was going to manage being able to, is the client's like really low tech. So I needed to have a really easy interface for them. So having everything that they needed to do on the custom fields tab,
Yes,
kept them from having to hop around too much. And again, it was you're able to do required field or is not a required field and all your usual things. But yeah, that's definitely been a favorite.
excellent. And do you want to take us next?
Sure. Ann Noter Thomas. I'm in Syracuse, New York. I've been using Joomla since I started in 2011. So about 10 years. And this exercise has been good for me because it kind of gelled what's been happening with me lately. When I started, I really liked the Joomla Shine. extensions, their uniform, their gallery. And it was in all my sites. And then during COVID, I had that little break where I really wasn't getting any new sites. And then I started getting some and I was just so confused. It felt like I couldn't make anything work. And what I'm realizing is a lot of the extensions I depended on, I couldn't use anymore and I didn't know where to turn. So, so a lot of what people are talking about now, I mean, the one thing, my sites guru was phenomenal for me to save time in so many different ways. And if I ever have a problem, I've had Phil a couple times over the years. I mean, he answers emails immediately and takes care of everything and usually kind of slaps you for something that you're doing that he doesn't think you should be doing. But his service is well worth it. So some of the things that I've been doing, I mean, I used to use the Helix framework and I just struggled with that more recently. So recently I kind of switched over to the template creator CK and page builder CK. I've kind of played with the page builder over the years and kept moving away. But I decided to try this template builder because of some of the discussion in this group. I know that isn't what people were doing, but and so far I've recently started 3 more sites and I'm doing that with all of them. And I'm happy. I mean, I've got a lot to do, you know, to learn about it, but it just seems like I'm finding answers so much quicker. I used to do the easy slider, and Lisa, you mentioned smart slider, so I'm trying that and I'm trying to get my hands around that, and it looks like it will solve my Joomla slide or the Joomla Shine slider problem.
Yeah, it's a great extension. It's on that site that I just showed you guys. I use Smart Slider on that too. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check that out. So convert forms, I'm moving things from uniform to convert forms, and I really like that. And I was using Asteroid framework too, and now the template creator. I have used advanced custom forms. There was one site that just wanted payment of CDs and albums and stuff, and just on the page. It didn't want a store or anything. So that he has a PayPal custom form that has worked great. And I'm also using on a musician's site his custom maps to show where these venues are that he's playing. So that's, and I have to say, latest news enhanced has been wonderful. That I'm trying to get my head around that. And Olivier, thank you for the help. It was exactly what I needed. So that's kind of where I'm at. And of course, all the usual maintenance things, Akiba and admin tools and JCE editor, those things.
That's a nice, well-rounded list. And I'm glad the meeting inspired you to go through it, and that you have so many people in this group doing the same thing.
Oh, this group has been phenomenal for me and making me feel like I have some options again. So I thank everybody, and Tim too. I don't know if he's still here, but
I'm here.
I've used your videos on all these things, and I really appreciate that you do those and have them out there. I never see them live, but I am catching them after the fact and liking them when I see them.
Oh, good. Thanks. Did you see the one when I compared Asteroid to Template Creator CK?
I haven't seen the comparison, but I did see you doing an early figure it out, template creator, figure it out.
I just did a video because I had a site that was an Asteroid, and then I converted it to, it was in Joomla 3 and Asteroid, and we redid the template to look exactly the same, in Template Creator in Joomla 3, and then of course it's compatible for 4. And from Joomla 3 and Asteroid to Joomla 4 and Template Creator CK, with the page load time, we gained 1/3 of a second to the
Wow.
first content, and then 1/4 of a second on the full page load. So yeah, I'm enjoying that Template Creator as well.
I'll have to go check that one out because I have 2 Asteroid sites that I'm gonna have to deal with.
Tim, I'm gonna have you go next, actually, so jump right in.
Well, let's just see here. I had a bunch of things here, but who knows? I'll save them in case I'm a spotlight someday. Yeah, everybody, I'm Tim Deos. I am here living on the left coast of Canada on Vancouver Island. I'm going to share my screen here. And let's see here. Which one is that that I want to do? It's that one. Yeah, so you see my background, I've got the, can you see, you seen the map here?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, make sure you did that right. In the background, they've got Lighthouse. That's the oldest lighthouse on the west coast of Canada, and it's about 5 minutes from my house. So this is my house down here, this red spot there, and that's where the lighthouse is. And when Lisa was talking about her swim team, this is actually signs that we have just down the hill from us for tsunami hazard zones. So you guys are the tsunami swimmers.
Yeah.
And here we're trying not to be tsunami swimmers. So I'm actually I think the tsunami wave height they call for here is 45 feet, and I'm converting this to imperial for you all. It's actually 15 meters, and I'm 80 meters above sea level, so it won't get us. I'll have a good view of it when it does happen. Yes, it will. But anyways, yeah, so we drive past these signs all the time, and on this one little section of road here, when I'm driving home, I think, gee, I wonder how far along here would be would I race towards the tsunami because this is the direction it'll be coming from, or should I turn around and race away from it? At what point is the turnaround point? So
You end up with beachfront property.
yeah, well, it'll be cleared out pretty good, parts of it. So I'm going to show you an extension that I really like. This is a client site. He sells driver training courses. He has a YouTube channel. He's also a friend of mine. And what we often have is that people will buy a course, and then some of them, for the life of them, cannot figure out how to find it. And we're actually just going to make it even like ridiculously more obvious now. But sometimes people say, hey, I just bought a course and I can't find it. And we wish that we could see what they can see, because maybe something they didn't get assigned to a course or whatever. So what from web357.com, there's an extension called login as user. And so basically all of these, you got extra column here in the user management. This is a Joomla 3 site. He's got it for 4. And I've sorted by last visit date. So, these are real people. So try not to give away all these addresses, but for your clients. But if I want to see, let's say that Stephen Edmund Allen says, hey, I can't find my courses. If I click as login as him, now I'm logged into the front end of the site as him, and I can see exactly what he sees. And I can go to purchase courses, and I can say, oh, no, he bought this course here. So, okay, it's there. We just have to show him how to do it. But if that course doesn't show up, then we know, oh, something's not right here because he really can't see it. Because a lot of the times, we've all had it. We've called tech support, and level 1 is trained to figure out what you did wrong instead of actually what's gone wrong. So this lets us at least look and say, hey, oh, look, no, he did buy the course. So we'll just make a little video and show him how to find it. And but if it's not there, then we know. So that's a pretty handy, just saves so much time. You don't have to change their password and log in as them and say, oh, here's your new password, or you have to reset it, because typically those users that are struggling to find stuff will struggle with resetting their password and stuff. So this is just a really nice.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and that's should put web357.com.
I use that on probably most of my sites because they're all heavy user based,
Yeah.
so it's a great extension. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
I
so
do
nice
too.
to say, oh, to look, it just it saves the headache. So
Mm.
that would be one that I like.
So
It's
Tim, did you ever do a
simple.
comparison between that Web 357 login as user and the one that, say, Joomla Shack does, which accomplishes the same thing?
No, I never did, and I didn't know that Joomla Shack had one.
Right,
You know,
right.
I've looked at it, and for me, the difference is that you have to, I think it's an extra, for me, it's an extra step where instead of just clicking the login as user button, you have to actually put in their username and your password. I'm pretty sure is how the Shack
Oh,
user
yeah,
section-
yeah, you're right.
right.
That's how it works. Yes.
Yeah, so it's an extra step where you have to know their username, right? So for me, it's much easier to just click that button and boom. The only, I think, negative is that you can't have shared sessions turned on, or you log yourself out of the admin area. So you've
Yeah.
got to have the shared
Oh,
sessions
okay.
off on most sites, depending on, you know, you and who else is doing that,
Yeah.
but it's a great extension.
And I do have shared sessions on that site because we use for SEO and we like to edit things in the front, see what it looks like. So it's like, that's the one thing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I just have to download, or I have to go back in as me again, so I can.
Great.
So I got a question about this from a technical standpoint. Olivier, any idea whether a tool like that becomes a security issue?
Could, but I mean, you would have to look at the code to see, and I don't think, I mean, I know the developer, I don't think there is any security issue on this extension.
Okay.
I would be confident with this one.
I have used that login as user from Web 357 or whatever they're called. But if you happen to have a Joomla Shack everything license, then you tend to, you know, drop stuff because, well, they already have it in there instead of paying an extra subscription. And I'm not sure, does the Web 357 do anything else, Tim, other than that one?
Yeah, they've got a bunch of things. He's Yanis, right? Is that right, Olivier?
Yeah.
Yanis, yeah. He's another crazy user-friendly guy like Tassos for his extensions. Like they're like, when I get in there using it's like, this is so nice. But he's got I mean, I won't do a full commercial for him here, but he's got his cookie notification bar is really nice as well. But he's got quite a bunch of stuff here.
Okay.
Yeah, these are not very huge extensions, but there are little things that can save you some time and really, there's something as a whole toolbox.
Yeah, really nice. Really user friendly.
Now the problem would be if somebody takes over your Joomla website, I mean, that extension would make it easier probably for the hacker, but he would get the info anyway.
Site on super admin, they've got the keys to everything anyway.
Yeah, so that wouldn't make any difference. It would be just making it a little easier to the hacker, but that's it.
And
the hacker already has control.
Yeah, there's a setting where you get alerted, you get an email alert every time somebody uses it. So I have that turned on for at least one of my sites where if you use the login as user, I get an email, the super users get an email that says someone logged in successfully as such and such. So that's a...
And you have a very sensitive site, you can use Admin Tools Pro, and it will give you all the tools to check every single person who logs into your site, and you'll know, and it will save you from that, from hacking.
We're coming up on the hour and a half, and I still have a couple of people I want to be able to talk, so we're going to move quickly. And let's do Paul, and then Laura, and then Pat.
Okay.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul Search from Three Cats Marketing. I think, everybody's mentioned Akiba, JCE's come up a couple times. The two tools that I use on every site, especially if I'm doing the hosting for them, because I actually host my own websites for my clients, is Watchful Client. I don't have to worry about maintaining anything. It's just great. The one that I do for development mostly is SP Page Builder Pro from Dreamshaper. As a marketing guide familiar with the story brand marketing framework, I basically have set sections that I use. And so it's nice that I can basically download a template of the page, upload it to the new site. And if I need to drag and drop the order of those, I can just drag and drop the order of them. I can change anything. Comes with a whole bunch of really nice add-on stuff like, forms. And so the forms isn't as useful as I like. I love convert forms. But I use like the raw JSON, the raw HTML all the time, and embed different apps into there from different sites. And just all kinds of fun layout things you can do with it. It really works well with layouts. So I love doing it for that. That's probably the one that I use every site I do. I just start off, install that.
Wonderful. Laura, do you want to go next?
Sure. All right, so there's a lot of tools that I absolutely love, but I'm gonna give a little props to our friend Olivier. So I want to show you guys what I've been able to do. Now, keep in mind, these are all templates. It's using Gantry, but this is what we're using at Rutgers. I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Laura Gordon. I've been building Joomla sites since about 2005 and involved in a lot of different stuff. And so grateful to be involved in a team that has put together J-Day USA twice already and rocked it. And notice I said I was involved in it. I just helped lead. I didn't even lead. I just helped. And these people were just amazing and everyone stepped up. And that's why these events were so amazing. And I can't wait till 2023. Save the calendar. Let's hope we can get to Texas and be together. And that would be great. So anyway, so latest news enhance. What I find really beautiful about it is that I can take data. So you have faculty members. Now, again, this picture of Andrew is probably 30 years old. I don't control the pictures. I can't control these faculty members that put these up from 1972. Okay, they've been around for a long time. It's the English Department of Rutgers, one of the oldest universities in the country. So anyway, yes, Rutgers was the very first football game in the entire country versus Princeton. And it was called Queens College at that point. So that was Rutgers. So, okay, what I'm able to do here is have the faculty members, first of all, it makes it easier for them to edit their own data. So they can log in because they own their record and they can edit their data and everything's in custom fields. The other thing that he added relatively recently is this lovely drop down. Now you may think, oh, well, yeah, you could, by tags or by, no, this is a custom field. I have a custom field with a multi-entry. So I have people in Asian American, I have people, boom, and it just displays and there's only one person in that or whatever, like custom fields. And it's beautiful because the issue with tags, especially when you have people editing their own data, tags is too hard. I love tags, it's gorgeous, right? But it's too hard. Custom fields. So now that Olivier has added this, not only that, but he has also added where I can create a page with the selection of that custom field. So now, because every single field wants their own flipping page. Okay, I can do that now. And it's off of the custom field. Okay, so that's really powerful. The other thing that he added is this beautiful table view. So now, because Tribinoscope always did it, and I was a little sad because Latest News Enhance is like the stepsister of Tribinoscope because he did that first. So I've been asking him forever. I'm like, why can't it do it? Laura, you don't understand in his beautiful accent. It's harder. Well, I don't care. I know you can do it. And he did. So anyway, here you have a table where you could select the fields. The only thing that's a little tricky that I'm going to push him a little bit more is I'd love to be able to say I want 2 fields in one cell. Now I know I can do that with an override, but you know how I'm not a big fan of overrides, not when I'm maintaining 120 different websites. I don't want to have to do overrides when I don't have to. I'll do it when I have to, so anyway, and it is responsive. So when I am in responsive mode, it not only stacks, but it keeps my field names and it looks gorgeous. So thank you, Olivier. And I just want to show you all one more piece here. that is really neat. So you have Olivier's tool, right? But then you also have one thing no one brought up is regular labs, not advanced custom fields is amazing, but regular labs has a linked field. So what that means is when I create book articles, right? I can have what author wrote the book. So think
Yeah.
about it. I can now link from here, and it could be more than one. So here, but there's two things here. So there's, I call it the reference field, right? So in my book itself, I reference, and basically when I edit the book, I can select what people or multiple people are associated with this book. Then on the people fields, I can add what's called an article linked, which basically will show me any books that Emily wrote.
Oh,
And
that's
with a
good.
little override, with a little HTML, and Olivier, thank you for giving me this. I had to do a little finagling to get the books display. Now, yes, they're different sizes, but it's the same width at least. Again, I can't control my content, but at least now I can show the books that these authors wrote. And these images are being pulled from custom fields in the books table.
Oh my God.
So it pulls everything together. It makes me really, really happy. So thank you, Olivier. Thank you, custom fields. And the other key with custom fields is I do the image as the custom field, because again, in Olivier's tool, I can select which image is that. So my issue with category blog view is you have no control over what's happening. Yes, you can create an override, but again, I'm not a big fan because I have so many sites to manage. And they're clickable. It's clickable. And also in his tool, you can even select what author it is. So if you select auto, if I log in, it'll only show me the articles that I own. Guess what? That's how I can have them edit their own profiles or their own entries. Because again, I had to convert 7 of our sites. We're using Community Builder for all of our faculty members. I've been converting them one by one into this. So I thank you, Olivier, for giving me that power. And the only question I have, and this is also for you, Allison, because as soon as I saw that gallery in the advanced custom fields, it made me really happy. But the problem is I still need the main image to use as a teaser image. So I'm assuming for that, I'll use the custom field, because I don't think Olivier wants to be talking to, at least not regularly, he doesn't want to talk to the advanced custom field, right? Because I got to play a little bit. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. So for right now, you know, because I'm using the third-party tools, I have to just be aware of what works. And I did create an override for the URL field for one of my pages for latest news enhanced. So that way it'll display the URL instead of showing the long link. It shows the article title and the field label. So it'll say website for Jane Smith or something like that. And it'll say that on the latest news enhanced page if you have to show like another link there. And yeah, oh, or you can change these links. Like if all of these people are stored externally, you can change the link to select a URL as the link instead of the article. So that's something else that Olivier added when I kept asking for it. So anyway, thank you, everybody. That's it.
And I apologize to Pat because she was like the first person here. So she ended up to my left, and she's going to be one of the last people to speak. And I think I still have Mary down there too. So Pat, you want to tell us what you love?
Well, let's see what hasn't been spoken about. You know, everybody's just had so much to contribute, and I feel like a novice, even though I've been doing Joomla since the day it was born, literally. But I was doing it while I was running Chamber of Commerce, so I was doing 2 jobs at once. And I've been making a long list, a very long list of everything everybody has recommended. RS Forms, I love. Akiba, can't do without it. And nobody's mentioned JCE editor, but that's the one editor that I depend on. It's like, in fact, I'm moving a site today, and JCE will be the second thing that goes on there. The first is Akiba, so that I can have everything in place and then start building it. And more, my sites are requiring forms. They love that they can have a website that's interactive. So I've been using RS Forms, but there were a couple of others that were mentioned, and I don't want to go through this long list, but I'm going to be looking at other options and seeing what can be done, because I've got one client in particular. She contacts me. She won't go to the website and see who has registered. She wants me to tell her. And that's not the way I like to operate. I like to say, well, you can go, here's your login, and you can go and look at it. And then she won't speak to me for a month. So maybe that's not such a bad thing. The one thing that I thought, I have one that nobody's going to talk about, and then Paul, you brought it up, and that is the SP Page Builder Pro. I had a tech that I was working with at Joomla on template issues, and he left them, and he suggested to me, he contacted me, and he suggested, he says, don't fool with Joomla Art's page builder. It's too difficult. Go with the SP Page Builder Pro. And I got into it, and at first it was kind of confusing, but then I got into it and I started understanding the structure of how they were building layers and then adding apps on top of that. And everybody's going to have a unique website now. There's no way they're all going to be the same or have anything unique. I mean, copy of it. In the past, when I've chosen a template, I've said to the client, don't worry, nobody else is going to have this template but you. That's my promise to you. And then along comes in the last year, I've had 4 clients who've come up and said, I like that one and that's what I want, and I don't want anything else. And I said, well, I'll make it look as different from that as I can with colors and the order in which I put things on there. But I said, if you're a city and this is what you want, then there's certain things we have to do that are going to be very similar to theirs. So that's about what, but the SP Page Builder Pro, if you haven't looked at it, go take a look at it. It's under Joomshaper, I think, and joomshaper.com. And they've been very helpful. They're not quite as responsive as Joomla Art is about issues that I have. But I think it's just because I haven't really tried. I've been trying to figure it out on my own before I would go to them, and in an effort to do my own self-training. But that's how I learned Joomla in the first place, was that I had a guy, I was sitting here in Tennessee. Well, actually, I was on the road, and this guy called me from Denver, and he said, how would you like to make a website in a day? How do you do that? And so I got into Joomla, and he taught me on the phone. We never have met, ever. And he taught me on the phone. I'd get to a point where I was stumped, and I'd call him up and he'd say, well, do this instead. And then I was off to the races again for a little bit longer. And that was my background in how I learned how to do computer programming too. So it was kind of like, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because you get stuck in something and you hate to let it beat you and have to call somebody up and say, hey, I have a problem here and I can't figure my way out. I'm asking for help. And so that's it. I don't know what else to say. I'm sat here listening to everybody and getting so much out of this. I'm so glad that you have started this, Robin, and that this whole group was put together. Thank you.
I'm just going to reach out to Mary. Are you here? You're muted.
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm just
good.
muted. Yeah.
Got a few minutes left. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been doing a website since 2000, and I did start with Mambo before I switched to Joomla. And I've got a confession here. I'm a bit of an extension addict. So I have tried everything except for this article field, and you can bet that I'm going to be trying that just as soon as I have a free moment, because that looks pretty amazing. You know, the first thing I do is I install the Better Preview from Regular Labs, because I love that. And then, of course, the Cache Cleaner and the Akiba. But then my go-to for everything else is the Joomla CK products, pretty much use it exclusively for my template design and the page builder. A lot of my clients are really excited about being able to be a little creative and using it. And those that aren't wanting to be creative, they just want it to be super easy. I'm using a lot of custom fields now so that they can feel empowered to keep their websites up to date. And of course, if they want to pay me to do it, I'm happy to do that as well. So that's me. Oh, and I'm from Washington State, US.
Yes, very nice. Thank you, Mary. And we are literally right on the hour and a half. Before I do mine, I'll do it real quick. Next meeting is October 20th. That's the third Thursday, and I have Mark lined up already to do the migration. I will check with him a couple of weeks before just to confirm, but I did get a really good confirmation from him. And Spotlight. Tim said he might do a spotlight at some point. Oh, no, Paul's next time. Can we have, that's right, I wrote down Paul is next time. And Tim, if you're available in November, I would love to have a spotlight from you, and you can answer at a later date if you'd like.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay, it's usually, we'll have to see where that lands with Thanksgiving being the third Thursday, but we'll figure out that.
Thanksgiving will be long gone by November.
Right, because you guys celebrate
Right, Joe?
They're in October, right?
Right.
So we'll see. Hopefully, yeah, okay, cool. So so that's a little bit of bookkeeping I wanted to check up with. So Paul, and next time, Tim, the time after that, and we'll look for speakers in November. I'm gonna share my screen real quick and show you all the amazing stuff that I've been doing with Latest News Enhanced since Olivier introduced us to it, and I don't know how I've lived without it as well. And I'm coming from a point of view of I'm building custom websites, and this isn't a cloned site, it's not a live site, and there's a lot of ads, and this is the really big job that I was talking about, where they have a lot of articles coming over, and I'm going to point out all the times I've used custom fields. This is one with the image, which comes from the small image, the intro image that's on the image tab. It's got the title, it's got the meta description is put in here, and then a read more. And then this is national news too, where it's just titles, but this one is featured, so it's not listed in this list. Okay. And then and this is just an add-on where you can just add on a link at the end of it. Then I've got regional news. Talk about complicated. They wanted 2 links to go to articles. And this is something I put in before and after. And so this over here is the featured image from just that first article. So I have it for all the different regions.
Are those using custom fields, or is that just typed into the text?
This image right here is in the image and link, the image tab.
Mm-hmm. The links inside where it says Heidi Foster and all that, are they using custom fields? No, so you just typed it into the text with the different links.
You mean right here?
Yes.
These are the titles. These are the titles. These are just
For
the
West
titles of the
region.
article.
Oh, those
I'm
are
linking
within it.
titles.
Got it, got it.
Linking titles. This one has no description, no read more. This is the image right from the intro image. I selected intro image. And then inside of the module, I put something before it and something after it. So this is a separate one. So this is a separate module just for an image. And this is a separate module for 2 image links. I did it for my columnists, where I put something above it, and this is like a see all below it. So I did it for my columnists. I did it for my videos. I did it for this magazine. If you go into the regional pages, a whole nother layout they approved, like they're killing me. They want all these different layouts. This was the most complicated that I finished at about 11 o'clock last night. This is one module, and this is one module. So this one is featured. These are pinned, like the tags, they're used tags. Both of these, all 5 of these are tagged, but that one's tagged and featured. And then down below, which I have to finish writing, is all of the rest of the articles that are not listed up here are down here. So that was a task. And that formatting is going to look like nice like this when I'm done with it. But yeah, so I have been even my video page, this is latest news enhanced. I threw 6 of them in there right now, and I'm basically building out the site before I bring in all those articles and form, shape the images, crop the images the way I want them, and categorize them the way I want them, feature them the way I want them, and then tag them the way I want them, so that they all just go automatically exactly where they need to be and look really, really pretty. So that's crazy, right? So I don't know how I lived without latest news enhanced before now, but I am using it to the full extent. This is one that I launched. It's a soft launch for a company that I was doing, and he has oh, sorry. Yeah, this is latest news enhanced too. But then there's another, see, just like every job I do now. And this one real quick does even something else that I had Olivier help me out with. This is a business coach. And these are the little animation, a little rotation that goes left to right of 3 testimonials. It goes slow because the business coach thinks everyone's going to read all 3 of them before they rotate, but so I'm like, 8 milliseconds, really? And so here comes the animation.
I had a client that had a testimonial slider at the bottom, and the guy's just obsessed with getting his site faster, and he had 700 testimonials that this thing was lining up to read 5 at a time. And I just thought, he's paying me, to be honest, he's paying me for consulting. I said, do you really think anyone is gonna go through there and read all 800? I mean, no. So I said, cut it down to 6, and you're gonna and your page is gonna be faster. So
Even a dozen. Oh my God.
yeah. It's like,
so that's been really fun to take those layouts
Wow.
and put them into
those are nice.
enhanced
Robin,
and get everything in there.
that is so freaking amazing. The
Yeah.
site I've got to quote is like, it's all that. Different topic, but all that. It's a news site, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have bid this job if we hadn't had that presentation a couple of months ago. It just made me so much more confident that I could pull it off. And before this, they were using K2 and they can only be in one category. So we're bringing it was a Joomla site. I was like, oh, all right, great. We already got Joomla, but let me tell you, we're not using anything from the original site. So that was,
No.
I thought I was, yeah. And then I'm going to migrate it to J4 after this is all said and done, like sometime next year. So that'll be fun too. So I'm trying to line myself up to do that. But yeah, so now you can have an article and it can be in national news. It can be in the West Region News. It can be a column, like one of their writers by tags, which is wonderful. And so now then they also wanted to like kind of have one feature that was maybe a couple months old, but they wanted that at the top because it's the most popular. So now I'm doing the ordering as well. And all of that is being handled by.
Have you done related by tags yet? Because that
no, and I don't think they need it, but I saw that that's
well, just saying that is, so I've kind of stopped using the tags, and I've really gone to the custom field with the multi-select because I find it easier for the customers to manage, and you can do exactly the same things with it because he's added that to modules, to everything. But related by tags, oh my, because then, and I did that on history before I had the field concept. I did that, and it just, this way I only need one module, and it magically will just show whatever records have the same tag as the main article. Think about it. Instead of creating multiple.
I gotta wrap my head around that at some point.
You only need one. I mean, if you want, I could do a session just on that because it does hurt your brain a little bit.
Okay.
But if you think about it, it's really, really powerful, because if you think about it, you have a certain TV, right? And other things that are related to that TV. Normally in our old school, we would create a module for each specific article. Now you only need one module, because it displays the same, right? And as long as the main article has the same tag as the pieces you want inside, you only need one module.
Oh my God.
That hurts. Yeah.
I
Do
think I'm
you
gonna
hear
cry.
that? Like, it just, I know it hurts, just slow.
Oh,
It changes your world, because having 30 or 50 modules is a problem for maintenance wise, right? And you're
yeah.
technically doing the same thing, right? We hate, as developers, you should never redo exact duplicate code. So it's related by tag, and Olivier has added that. So yeah, I could do the related tags. I could do a demo of that, because I've had to teach my colleagues how to do that, because we've done it at Rutgers quite a few times.
I will put that down as a topic, and if anyone else has any other suggestions for topics too.
I would need about probably 20 minutes, maybe,
Yeah.
not more than that, 15 minutes. So let me know which month you want me to do it.
Oh, you could do it as spotlight too, if you wanted to, a little bit about that too. Yeah, because we
You-
can do
you let
anything
me
you want
know.
in a spotlight, if you think it's gonna be a little shorter. So this was our first mastermind, and I'm very pleased at how it turned out. I think you all had a good time, and that was Olivier and I kind of brainstormed and said, let's just do that in September, because we couldn't find another speaker.
Oh, this is fabulous.
So we'll do this every so often, and we talked about what some other ideas could be, and maybe even sharing some of the tools we use to run our business that are not Joomla related. Could be a cool topic, or and if anyone else, always just shoot me off a message and let me know what you're thinking. But we're running a little bit over, and I'm so happy you're all here today. I will make the video and put it up on the YouTube and share it on the Facebook page. And hopefully everyone's getting emails from me. If you're not, then you can add your email on my, I think I shared it on the Facebook page. You can go to my website and just add your email, and I'll add you to the list.
And make sure to put it as an event in Joomla events.
Oh,
Yes,
shoot.
because I need it there to be able to post it on the mains.
Yes.
I forgot
And
to do
then
that this time.
The word will
so
get out. That's
sorry.
okay. And we are having a Joomla user group organizer event on October 8th. So it's meant for anyone that runs their own Joomla user group, or is thinking about creating their own Joomla user group, and it could be a virtual group. So Robin, I don't think you can attend that day, but maybe if someone from this group can attend on your behalf, although I'm coordinating the meeting, but this way I'm not playing both sides. So, and also Olivier has his own extension developers group, so maybe they'll have a meetings.
I'll be there.
I have Joe and I have Rich. I'm in a golf tournament that day, I believe. I'll just have to see what the timing is. I'm not 100% sure what
Do we
That's
have
actually,
minutes?
that's actually Thanksgiving weekend.
See, the Canadians will be
Sorry.
busy.
The real Thanksgiving
A
week.
real
Yeah.
thing. Sorry about that. I will record it. I promise to record it. It was the only free Saturday I had, and my friends from Italy really like the Saturday meeting, so I'm gonna.
Okay.
That's
Right,
okay.
right.
We're actually free on Thanksgiving weekend to do what we want to. We don't have to watch football. So
Yeah, there you go.
Olivier, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. So you know that I'm a little more involved this time. I mean, right now with Joomla releases, and 4.3 is coming sometime. No, it's gonna come in April. So just wanted to let you know that we need testers for our Joomla versions, not necessarily the next one, but all the Joomla versions that are coming up from now on. We are in need of testers. We need testers who test the code, but we also need testers like you who can try the version on a bigger scale, because you have sites that you are running. There may be big sites, and really need to be able to test our Joomla versions on live sites, which means you wouldn't want to test your websites of your clients with new versions of Joomla that are not certified yet, but you would be able to take a copy of the site maybe and test the new Joomla version with it. That really need help on having really live examples on the Joomla sites, because like you've seen for 4.2, for example, we had some issues with the login and stuff. So these kind of issues would come up with real live websites. When we test Joomla, usually we test with our own, test sites, and they may not be having a big data, a large amount of data. We may be short-sighted on what to test and how the site is going to be handled. So it really helps that if you have the capacity of taking a website of yours, of one of your clients, making a backup and run it with a new version of Joomla that's coming up, that really would help a lot. And so we need people who can give us feedback for that.
And there's a couple of really easy ways to clone sites. Like you do them with 2 clicks, then you've got the copy of it and you're in there. So
Does everyone know
and
how
how
to
do you
get a
do
hold of
that?
Olivier?
Yeah, if you can always contact me, simplifyyourweb@gmail.com, and that you get to me.
I'd like to hear more about what Tim said about the 2-click clone. Just so that so that we can test, and it's easy, because I think sometimes we get overwhelmed with having to set up a new instance and all of the stuff that goes along with it.
there's an extension called Stage It by Barnaby Dixon, which works really great. Periodically, I've found the odd extension that didn't want to behave in it just because that one creates a copy of the live site inside the a copy of the site in a subfolder of the live site. So that's, if you're doing a quick test, it's fine. But then if you're using Akiba for backup, you have to exclude that folder, otherwise your backups get really big. But if your web hosting has Softaculous, they have a really, really quick, you just select and clone it, and then it ends up in its own instance. And then you can also, it also removes very easy off the server as well. So, I mean, I could show you guys that on, because I have Softaculous on my server, but that's a really, I could show you both, or you could watch the video on them, but
yeah, you probably already have a video on
yeah.
that.
yeah,
Look it up, share it on your social, whatever works is great.
yeah.
So I know we're running long here and people are starting to bail, but
Yeah.
A quick question for you, Olivier, regarding release, especially, major release or incremental like 4.3. Is there a potential for the project to do staged or staggered releases where it's only released to a small percentage of, or made available for small percentage, and that way we could get the Joomla users in Europe to test it or check it first, so that by the time
there are different ways you can get the latest. I mean, every day there's the compilation of the version, so you can have, if you go to the Joomla update, you can get the nightlies every day, so you can always use the latest version that's available.
So I'm just thinking
to...
that when you do a release and an unanticipated problem comes up, then the whole project's in panic mode to fix something, right? Like what happened with 4.2. And so to avoid that, you want to say, okay, you release it in the wild, but not to 100% of the users.
Yeah, there's a there's a number of people who are set up to test when something like that happens. But it's true that there is no a large amount of testers. I mean, it's a limited number of testers. So
okay.
Yeah, that would be helpful to have more large number of people. There are all these processes that are put in place right now to get the process getting better, so that we don't get into hurdles like we did.
Right.
All right.
So I
Thank
guess
you.
if we don't stop yapping, we'll go all
Yeah, yeah.
day, right?
No, I still got other meetings and website to build today. Thank you,
I
everyone.
have some
for
lunch
coming.
too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Robin,
This was
I
great.
just need a heads up if I'm gonna do the related fields.
I
which
just sent you a message. Will you do November? I know Mark is doing migration next month. So if when we pick the November date, maybe I'll talk to you offline, see if you
I
can.
can do November.
Okay.
It's the week before Thanksgiving, so
Is
it
it
Is it
actually
the week
works out.
before?
Week
Perfect.
before, yep.
Then we'll
It's
keep it
November
third.
17th, right? It's the
17th.
third.
Perfect. We'll, if you can do the 17th, I'll follow up with you.
I can do the 17th, yeah, and it could be probably about 20 minutes. It just depends if people are asking questions or if people want to actually try it, then I can make it where it's a dynamic session where everyone logs into
And
a
why don't
site.
you use the whole 30 minutes then? And we'll do you
Okay.
as the
So
speaker.
then I'll do it where it's a hands-on workshop.
Fun.
Nice.
So
That makes
cool.
it better when you're working with the data with something like that, because then you can see it break and you can see it work. So I'll do it the way I would do a normal class, like it would be a quick class.
We love to break things.
Yeah, that's the only way you learn, right? You're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
why is that article showing up? I make all my students, I do it, and I make them name their modules with their name and we're all on the same site. So then Mary's modules on every single site. I'm like, hey guys, guess what? What did Mary do wrong? They're like, select the page. I'm like, yes. So poor Mary will be sad, but that's okay. Like, you need to thick skin. She won't do it again, right? So yeah, I put everyone on the spot in my classes. So yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
And then
Well-
before you log off, check the link from Tim on the
Yeah,
chat.
that's the link. That's the link to the one on Softaculous. The video I have on Stage It was a live stream, and those are like really long and rambling. So I'll do the Stage It for Maintenance Monday after this weekend. So I'll just do a quick one of that. I'm trying to make them shorter. So
Yeah, I love those quick and dirty ones.
yeah,
Those-
I knew you were one of the ones that came to mind when I looked at that. Oh, that's a live stream. Oh, Allison doesn't want me to share that link. That's too long.
Well, that or tag it with, here's the heart of the thing. And if you want to chat with everybody or listen to the chat, then listen to the whole thing.
Yeah. No, the live streams are their own thing. I'm not that's more community building and just has evolved into that, but I'm trying to do the other videos quicker. So
Wonderful. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye for now.
bye
Bye-bye.